today we're presenting about DevEx resources. So the usual disclaimer within which we contain all of our releases which form the backbone of today's presentation. So DevEx Resources is an ASX-listed junior explorer with its eye on drilling for discovery within two of Australia's mineral hotspots, which include the Lachlan Fold Belt in New South Wales and also, as Paul mentioned, the Uranium complex in Western Australia, which has seen recent discoveries by Chalice Gold in this year. With over $6 million in cash backing, drilling now underway in New South Wales and exploration ramping up in Western Australia within our Uranium complex, DevEx shareholders can expect to see significant increase in momentum and news flow over the coming months. So just to explain where we are in a snapshot per the presentation, the Lachlan Fold Belt has seen a significant increase especially in New South Wales, has seen a significant increase in exploration activities over the last year, following on from the recent discovery last year from Alkane Resources at Boda. That has seen a large wave of investment from explorers, both major and junior alike, into the region. DevEx Resources has secured 600 square kilometres of ground within this Lachlan Fold Belt, within this most prospective area, and that's where we've been focused for the last 2 years. And that includes now our new Basin Creek gold project, which we're now defining as a very significant size surface gold system, which we have the drill rig now on site drilling, and also our Junie copper gold porphyry project further to the northwest northwest of Basin Creek. And then in the west, at our Julimar complex, we have secured significant ground holding over some exciting looking targets that have never been explored for nickel copper PG type deposits. And with the new discovery this year by Chalice Gold, we're very excited and we're advancing that project and building the momentum on that project at the moment, including the recent earn-in which we're doing with Bauxite Explorer ASQ on the adjacent ground next to our recent tenement applications. So in our view, we're leveraged well for discovery success with both our cash backing and also our shareholder base, including our chairman, Mr. Tim Goyder, who is our holds 19% of DevEx Resources and is an exploration enthusiast. We're well set to charge ahead this year with drilling on hopefully both projects. So drilling down into the projects that we're showing you here and starting in the Lachlan Fold Belt of New South Wales, to show you where we are. The map you see on the left-hand side of the image shows where our projects are located down in the south of the area. This is well in excess now of 600 square kilometres of very prospective ground, which sits in an area which is well explored by major explorers and junior explorers alike. The region is a well-endowed metallogenic belt. It hosts one of Australia's largest copper gold porphyry deposits at Katie Ridgeway, which is being mined by Newcrest Mining, and also to the northwest by North Parkes and China Moly. And the whole belt along this Gilmore Suture is being explored by several majors. So we've been growing this portfolio over the last 2 years and have in the recent year been excited by some of the results we're seeing. Drilling down into the exact projects, so Basin Creek project located down to the southeast. Showing you here is a map of the main ridge prospect, which is located in the centre of our Basin Creek project tenement. Since the licence was granted in February, we've been very active on the ground doing rock chip results and also the mapping, which has really driven us forward with the momentum. What we're seeing here is an extensive area of alteration, bedrock alteration, where we've been rock chipping the region in the last few months, where we're getting up to 8 grams per tonne gold. That spurred us on to do, for the first time, soil geochemistry, looking at the gold of the system and mapping that system. And so this map here that you see here is showing a golden soil anomaly that is now extending over 3.5 kilometres in strike. It's a remarkable strike, and for those that are sitting at home with a nice view, if you look out your window and imagine what 3.5 kilometres look like, it's an extensive area of continuous golden soil anomalism. So that's where the rig is now drilling away. We arrived on site last week, and we're looking forward to seeing a second drill rig arrive this week and continue drilling of what is really an extensive system. You know, the yellow drill holes that you see there is what we're planning to drill. The system has not seen any significant drilling at all, except for in the early 80s, where most of the drill holes that were drilled by Shell were on the eastern side of that soil anomaly, and they were drilling to the east. So they were actually drilling away from the soil anomaly. So we're excited by that. So there's a picture of the drill rig. It's on site, it's drilling. Right now it's an initial first pass RC program, including diamond drilling of approximately 14 holes. But as we're getting results, we expect that program to expand just purely by the scale of the system. Stepping to our Junee project, which is located to the northwest, 60 kilometres to the northwest, where we're exploring for porphyry copper gold deposits. This area here has seen very little exploration until our involvement in the last 2 years. This follows on from work by the Geological Survey New South Wales, which came into this region and they age-date rocks, that especially porphyry rocks, that was seen as the same age as the Cadia Ridgeway and the North Parkes porphyry deposits. And that sparked a significant pegging rush down there, including ourselves, where we have 100% of our own tenements in this region, and we're very active with doing first pass exploration. And now that we've defined drill targets, we're expecting to see drilling in the coming weeks. So drilling again down into this main prospect at Junee, within this white box area. The Cobar monzonite located north of our tenements is the monzonite that was age dated to be the same age and chemistry as Cadia and North Parkes. So as you can see on the slide, the strike of this, we're seeing very similar magnetic anomalies undercover on our own project, and that's where we're planning to drill. We've been into the field here and within that white box area at projects and prospects such as Riversdale North and Billabong Creek, focusing on these magnetic anomalies, both highs and lows. And we've been into the field and we're starting to see the signs of copper mineralisation, and such as inside of the white box you see that at Billabong Creek and Riversdale North, we're assaying rock chips up to 2.8 grams per tonne gold in a Gossan, half a percent copper, and we're seeing signs of broad alteration around these zones of copper and gold mineralisation. That spurred us to do the IP geophysics, which is again ground geophysics that's looking for disseminated sulfides that may be lying underneath these rocks, and it provides targets for us if we can find signs of chargeability anomalies as a result of IP. Coincidentally, by doing that, we're now seeing two key anomalies over the top of the areas where we're seeing both copper mineralisation and gold mineralisation. And when you look at two cross sections through those two systems, and just moving on to the next slide, at both Riversdale North, we're seeing now an IP anomaly directly underneath that green line on the northern part of that section, and that green line is showing an area where there's alteration and also the rock chip results that we were reporting earlier this year and last year, including up to 1.3% copper. So it's a very straightforward drill target, and what we're doing is we're planning in the next week to bring the drill rig onto site and start drilling these two IP anomalies, both at Billabong Creek and also at Riversdale North. Well, that's New South Wales, and although exciting, and in New South Wales we also have our project within the Julimar complex in Western Australia, where this year Chalice Gold Mines made a very significant discovery to the south of one of our main projects, and I'm sure everyone has seen the results of those that drilling. So just as a snapshot of where we're located, we have 4 exploration applications that are currently progressing towards grant, and we've also entered into an earn-in agreement with Australian Silica Quartz Group, who are a bauxite explorer on ground adjacent to one of our key magnetic targets. The main focus for us at the moment is at the Sovereign project, located north of Chalice, between Chalice Gold Mines discovery and also the Yarrawinda Brook nickel copper PG project that Cassini Resources has. And it sits within a group of magnetic rocks that have never been explored for these types of deposits. It's been explored previously for bauxite, but nobody's drilled any holes going below that bauxite layer, and that's what's exciting us the most. And the ground that's been granted with Australian Silica Quartz is licensed. That ground, they have access agreements in place, and that's seen us to be able to get onto the ground now and start the work, which is what we've been focused on over the last few months. So focusing down in on the Sovereign project, you can see in the slide with the tenements and where our tenements are located, both our application 100% and also our earn-in on Australian Silica Quartz's granted licence. That magnetic anomaly has become the focus for us at the moment. We've been out there looking at both outcrop and rock chip sampling of the extensive surface laterite bauxite weathered zone through that region, and also we've been sampling Australian Silica Quartz's drill holes where they were targeting the bauxite horizon, and we've been looking at what sort of nickel and copper and chromium results that we see there, and whether it's indicative of an underlying prospective ultramafic rock types, which is really what's going on to the south with Chalice's discovery. And so far we're seeing very positive signs. We're seeing high nickel, we're seeing high copper, and we're also seeing PGE results as a result of that work that we're doing. And the next step for us is to move forward now with doing airborne EM, and we've got an airborne EM planned in the coming weeks, and also continue to work on the ground and map this very large system. From a scale perspective, as you can see, that magnetic anomaly is well and truly over 6 kilometres long and really 6 to 5 kilometres wide. So it's a large area, and it sits and it's completely masked by bauxite and laterite and residual. So getting into the area is what we're focused on, and we're hoping to fast track that with the airborne EM and deliver results from that work. So as a rough time frame, and what we're doing and what we're achieving at the moment is we've completed the soil geochemistry at Basin Creek. We've now got drilling, and that's commenced, and the second diamond rig is due to arrive on site this week to keep the drilling momentum going. We're planning to drill at Junee in the coming weeks as well, and we're hoping to get a third rig, and if not, one of those rigs will move to Junee. And then at Sovereign Project, we've been assaying, we've been on the ground, we've been doing the initial work to get indications that we've got the right rocks associated with those magnetic anomalies, which we have. And now we've progressed with airborne EM, which we're looking forward to seeing start in the coming week, and with drilling to follow. The snapshot of who we are and DevEx Resources at the moment, we've got 230 million shares on issue. We've got a market cap right now of $52 million, and we have just shy of $7 million in the bank. That's setting us up to propel forward with significant momentum, including the drilling that we're planning to do and the airborne EM and subsequent drilling following that. We're well supported by our shareholders, including our chairman, Tim Gorder, who is 19%, and Tim's an enthusiast. Tim has had a very successful year. He's the chairman of Chalice Gold. He's also the chairman of Liontown. And what Tim has been focused on has been to build groups of explorers around his investments, and those groups of explorers who have got a history of how to make discoveries. And that's seen that success that Tim's seen in the last 2 years come to fruition. Within our own team, both myself, I'm an experienced explorer. I've been working for companies focused on project generation through to resource development, and that's been the focus for over 20 years for myself. And in New South Wales, even though we've got our borders up here in the west, Chris Torrey is our manager over there and our chief geologist, and Chris is in the field at the moment at Main Ridge, and our geologists there are working very hard on both the targets we've got to drill and also our other projects in the region. So we're well supported and we're very active. And that's really us in a summary. We've got drilling currently taking place in New South Wales. It's a very extensive soil anomaly, over 3.5 kilometres, backed up by significant alteration at the Main Ridge project. So we're looking forward to seeing results in the coming weeks from that drilling results. And likewise at Junee, where we've got an extensive porphyry copper gold science system where we're planning to be drilling shortly in the coming weeks. And then nonetheless, also at the Julimar project, which we're moving forth in leaps and bounds.
Thank you very much, Brendan. We have a couple of questions that have come in. One investor has asked, when do we expect to report the first assays from the Basin Creek project?
I would imagine in 3 to 4 weeks' time that we'll be seeing those results come through. The rig started drilling last week, so we would be sending those through to the lab in 3 to 4 weeks.
And when do you expect to be able to start drilling at Julimar?
Julimar, I think we'll see with the airborne EM and how the targets progress with the airborne EM, and also our plan is to be drilling in the coming months at Julimar, both with reconnaissance, air core and RAB, and also when we get the targets from the airborne EM with RC drilling in November.
And do you have any plans for the uranium projects in the Northern Territory?
Yeah, we do. It's not our focus today, right now, and as some of our long and suffering shareholders had from the last sort of 5 to 10 years, uranium has been in the doldrums for quite some time. We've got outstanding uranium ground up in the Northern Territory around the Narblek uranium mine. Right now, we've got that on hold. We're focused in New South Wales and WA. Our plan is to revisit that in the coming year once we start to see an uptick in the uranium and more enthusiasm in uranium. But we're under no pressure to race out and explore that.